you'd have asked me what creativity is a year and a half ago, I would have said to you, I wasn't creative.
As human beings, there is creativity in each and every one of us. It's in the blueprint of who we are to be creative.
Creativity is having an idea that no one else knows of, that no one else can see, and you produce it into something else that someone can vision.
My name's Andrew. I live here in Kernow, near St Michael's Mount.
So my name is Ross Taylor, 33 years young. Originally I come from Plymouth.
Hi, I'm Thorne. I am about to be 21.
And my creative outlet is painting.
I guess you could call my creative outlet photography.
Sounds stupid to say, but I am a shaper. Yeah, making surfboards.
The reason I started exploring my creativity was I suffered a fairly nasty snowboarding injury, so last January. So I snowboarded in the past at a reasonably sort of high level. You know, I used to compete for a number of years, and I was out training last year in France, and I took a tumble and I dislocated and fractured my shoulder. I was in a sling for I think about 8 weeks. I've always been interested in photography, videography, you know, growing up following action sports, but I'd never actually sort of done it myself. Bought a camera and, you know, there was nothing to do. I couldn't do any of the sports that I'd normally sort of fill my time with, so I had that camera sat there and I thought, you know, I need to find something to keep myself sort of entertained. So I just kind of picked up the camera and started going out with friends who do the sports that I used to do in the past, or, you know, just finding new sports and just sort of trying to go out and, you know, just keep myself busy. And I guess after, you know, a period of time, I kind of got hooked onto it, and it just became, you know, I became more and more fascinated.
Yeah, I guess the reason that I started to explore that creativity was I just really wanted to express something that was going on inside of me when I experienced the sea, really. Just felt this like sense of freedom, and I don't know, I just was in kind of awe of the vastness of the ocean. The things that really inspire me are the power of the waves and the light. I think if I had to pick one thing, it would be the light. I love the interplay with the waves and the shadows that are created, the colours. The main inspiration for my paintings comes through just my daily life. That urge to create comes out of moments that I've experienced, encounters that I've had with beauty, encounters that I've had in relationship with my family or with my friends, when I'm out surfing or when I'm out walking on the cliffs. That's always been the starting point for me to create.
I first started working with resin about February last year, so just over a year now. I basically just needed some way of expressing myself creatively. I always have these ideas that I can never put to paper, and I was kind of looking for a medium to work with. And I thought I'd make some Christmas presents for people, so I got some big sheets of wood and basically created some like reef scenes. Got really high off the fumes because I had no respirator, no mask, didn't know what I was doing. I was leaning over the resin for about 2-3 hours, stirring colours, and only afterwards did I realise how bad that was. And they turned out so good, I was like, this would look amazing on a board, so that's where it started. The first board I made took a month. It was trial and error. It was watching a lot of YouTube videos, reading so many of like the backyard shaper comments. A lot of bad things happen with the resin. But yeah, it still turned out as a really nice board. And I thought, if this is only board number 1, like surely if I carry this on, I can make some cool stuff.
I've only really been doing photography for sort of a year and a half, like a bit more sort of serious for the last sort of 6 months to a year. I think to start off with, it's maybe a really good thing to go out and shoot loads of different things, loads of different genres, different types of photography. It will come sort of naturally to you what you find most interesting, and if you shoot what is most interesting to you, and what you find natural, then I think that will come through in the photos, and the photography will be better for it. Take your camera everywhere. I haven't got it with me today, I actually forgot it, but I've pretty much got my camera with me all the time now, because you never know quite what you're going to see, or what crazy event might occur. I got a couple of double page spreads in the latest Carve, so that was my first surf magazine, so obviously that meant a lot to me. I was like a kid when that came through, and I got to see the photos in there, so I was super stoked on that. People would probably see most of my photography on Instagram. Instagram's got its place and its purpose for sure, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing that excites me more than actually having that photograph in its physical form and, in front of you. So to have those pictures that you'd normally see on a little screen on Instagram, or, on your laptop, to actually have that in a magazine that you can physically sort of flick through, and, show your mum and show your friends, there's something special about that. Something that I get probably more stoked than anything, and like brings me loads of joy, is when people come to you and you've got a photograph of them and they want it in print form. So they ask me to get that photograph, whether it be a surf photo or a landscape photo, or whatever the photo may be. If someone comes to you and they say they really like that image, you're like, I love the fact that someone wants to have something that you've taken a memory and put that up in the house. That's whenever that happens, that's a massive achievement. And I've been doing some prints recently, and I still get as excited every single print when someone contacts me and say they like it for whatever reason, and then to know that they're going to put it in a particular place, I think that's really awesome, and I don't know if I'll ever get tired of that.
I take so many aspects of like daily life to put into it. Fashion is like a heavy influence on my whole life. Everything I create, I always think, how does this look aesthetically? So when I'm creating a board, it's not so much about, does this fit in with like mainstream boards? Is this an art piece to me? I work a lot on colour themes as well. So some nights I'll just be up and I'll think, oh, that works. Like I can write and create names for different colours all the time. And then I try and basically mood board them until I have some vision of what I want to put on the board. I would say I'm a full-on daydreamer. Like constantly, there's always something in my mind. Like today, of all places, I drove through Cambourne and I was like, damn, look at that spray paint. Look at that horrendous shop that looks like someone died in there. And like, I was still picking out inspiration. It is a case of just messing around when it comes to finding your own niche creatively. I had no idea I was going to end up making surfboards. I'd always seen people do it and thought, that's incredible, that's a nice board, I would surf that. But I never thought about the process behind it until I started digging around, really. Have a go. Like, the industry, I suppose, is a bit intimidating if you haven't been in it already, but everyone has been really helpful so far. Pretty much just drop people messages. If you have no idea what you're doing, watch something on YouTube. There's a lot of Instagram accounts that I follow that have been amazingly helpful, especially with shaping. Like a lot of the guys who have been doing it for 20 plus years, they post their kind of tutorials and lessons all the time. Basically, don't get too big-headed, don't think you know what you're doing. As soon as you think, oh my God, I've mastered this, like you're guaranteed to just make a hole in something or burn something or have a chemical fire.
So after being out, you know, in the wild, whether it's out surfing, you know, catching a big swell, feeling the raw power of the ocean, or whether it be, you know, running on the beach with my family, with a dog, out of that, the emotions, the experience, the memory of those times, I'll bring back into the studio. For me, it's all about worship. My experiences of life, the relationship that I have with God, it plays a massive, massive part in what I do. When I come into the studio, the first thing I'll do is just put on my music, put on my worship music, just begin to get into that place of devotion, that place of worship with Jesus. And I just feel such a peace, I feel such a sense of His presence, such a experience of deep joy. My paintings are forged in that place of adoration, really. Adoration of the beauty that's around, but more than that, adoration of the one who created the heavens and the earth. And my relationship with Jesus is the bedrock of everything I do.
I guess if you'd have asked me what creativity is a year and a half ago, I would have said to you, I wasn't creative. And even now, to an extent, I suffer with like imposter syndrome a little bit, in that I don't think I am creative. I sort of sometimes wish to me, you know, like, I wish I was better at photography. I definitely didn't think I was creative, but I think with photography, you know, having the injury and then picking up a camera and, you know, kind of throwing myself sort of head first into the photography is maybe shown me that somewhere deep down there is a bit of creativity in me.
You know, if you over paint, if you try to produce too much work within a short period, then you can kind of lose that creative spark. You have to breathe in to breathe out. There has to be that time alone. There has to be that time out, taking in the beauty that's around us. You know, you've got to have, first of all, receive something to be able to give something. So Caleb, my son, it's great to see him, you know, following in my footsteps in some ways, seeking to, you know, make a living through his creativity.
To me, creativity is having an idea that no one else knows of, that no one else can see, and you produce it, whether it be words, art, a project, into something else that someone can vision and say, wow, how did you come up with that? I guess coming up with Resident, I've kind of seen my own style evolve a little bit. It's quite bold, it's quite graphic, a lot of colours. I didn't realise I liked colours that much.
I think, you know, as human beings, there is creativity in each and every one of us. It's in the blueprint of who we are to be creative. And for every person, it's different. And that's what I love about creativity, is that what I create, what I do, the expression that comes from the innermost being of who I am is unique to me. No one else can do what I can do, and no one else can do what you can do. That creative spark that's in the DNA of each and every one of us, when we can tap into that and connect with that, it brings so much joy to the human spirit.